I'm not really gonna beat around the bush or sugarcoat my take on this chapter, and especially the recent chapters of Jujutsu Kaisen. I haven't really liked them. I haven't hated them, but to me, like, these last couple chapters have felt really weird. I think it's since Akutami announced that Jujutsu Kaisen would end in like 2 years, and this was around the end of Shibuya arc, so a couple months ago. I always kind of gauge like a year and a half, maybe a little bit more left for Jujutsu Kaisen, but it's like since then I felt Akutami is trying to get side plot stuff out of the way, that way he can focus entirely on the next portion of the story, like primary focus on the Culling game and what's going to go on Kamunora Toji, whatever he's got playing with like Yuta and Sukuna and stuff, which is fine. Like, obviously, like, he should focus on the more important stuff, but that means that, like, kind of like stuff like this with like Maki and the Zen'In clan, it's kind of like that Yaga chapter and the Panda chapter. It wasn't a bad thing, but it just kind of came out of nowhere, and it was one of those things that I felt like should have had a good set larger of build up to it. It just kind of happened, and that was weird. Whereas with the stuff with Maki, like everything that's been going on with the Zen'In clan and everything going on with like the power struggle, Maki's placement, and everything going on, that's been a point in the story for a bit, but it was just suddenly moving so fast. I felt like this shouldn't have happened yet. I feel like maybe we should have got part of it, and then Naoya versus Maki could have been settled during the Culling game. It feels really weird for this to be done here, and Naoya to be defeated so early. And not just defeated, because like he lost to Choso, but it was understandable in that fight. Now I'm guessing he's dead. We've got Maki's mom just showing up with a knife, and she just stabs him, and it looks like his existence in the story is done. And also on top of that, I thought it was really weird that Maki wasn't the one to kill him. Mainly because she was just like going through all these other Zen'In people. You'd think that she would execute like the head person that is like a problem for her, like the head enemy guy within the Zen'In clan, the head conflicting individual. Because like if he lived and then got away and then just kind of like came back with like an actual good weapon, is like when he was fighting Maki, when he was landing his like that FPS curse technique, if he had a weapon or something that he could get like free stabs in or free like deep cuts or anything like that, he probably would have won that. But he was like doing more of like the high speed melee, which is still good, but I think the best value of that power is essentially getting a free hit in. So if you have like some form of dangerous ability or weapon that it's like, oh, it's really powerful, but you have to land the hit, then why isn't he using something like that? And he had the access to all their curse tools, and I'd find it hard to believe they don't have one kind of tricky weapon like that somewhere. Either way, Naoya. Now, the people that are upset about Naoya, it's not that Naoya had like this crazy amount of like investment in his character and stuff, but it was set up like people should be invested in him. And when he lost to Choso, that wasn't a big deal. It was like, okay, he could lose. You can have a character lose and still have value in them, still understand like where they're at in the story and stuff. But it's like you're killing him off here, and his fight was only one chapter, so it was just, it was really weird from the perspective of the people who thought that Naoya was going to be more important, but I guess not. And it sucks because like he's got one of the cooler powers also like put into the series. Like that's one of the things I did like about Naobito. I liked the power. It was hard for me to understand because it was weird, but I liked it a lot. And the internal struggle between the Zen'In members was a cool subplot that I was hoping would have more of a grand kind of setting in the story. Whereas Maki just seems to have just killed all of the opposition of the Zen'In clan, and now the Zen'In clan is like up to get voted out of the head clans by the Noritoshi family, and then the Gojo family. I think I'm trying to remember the other one, the Kamo family. Maybe I'd have to double check. Actually, I think it's Kamo. I think Kamo's the last name, not Noritoshi. I think I can pull up the chapter again real quick. Just because, like, obviously the Gojo family is the easy one to kind of compare to remember and set up to. Let me see the other one. Yeah, the Kamo family. Like, their clans are now like, maybe we should get rid of the Zen'In, but it's like, man, you guys better hope that Maki doesn't come over there as well. Because if a majority of, like, of the high class people and their groups are like they're this much of a power gap between Maki and the Zen'In. I wouldn't imagine anyone like really left in the other clans are gonna do anything to Maki. Like, she should probably be able to completely dominate them. So, like, it's weird because like we knew that there was a gap. Like, we knew that Satoru was so much more powerful than these other guys, but it's like there were really zero other like powerful people in comparison. I don't think Maki could have beaten Naobito. I think he was definitely stronger just based off of like how well he performed against Dagon against a special grade. But obviously that's something that we would have to see more of a... We would have to get more of like a statement, or, you know, maybe like a direct statement of it. Like if someone straight said that, oh, Naobito is, you know, X times stronger than Nalia, or Nalia was only a fraction of, you know, of him, or something in comparison, like a direct on-panel statement of like placing the two of them in line with each other. But it was overall like an interesting chapter. Like, I didn't hate it, but the problem is, like I said, it feels like he's trying to go through all these subplots very fast so he can kind of focus on other things. So he's not going to get to like X amount of chapters in the Colon game, like, oh crap, like I left this plot point open, what am I going to do with it, kind of thing. He's just kind of getting these out of the way. But I feel like everything going on with Maki and the Zen'In clan should have been like a big subplot. It should have been one of those ones that it's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to take that into the Colon game arc and everything. Because now I don't really know what Maki's own kind of like future point in the story is going to be. She's taken over the Zen'In clan. Like, there's not really anybody that seems to be an opposing threat to her. Her parents are gone. Her sister's gone. I don't really know what's left for her to do outside of participate in the main story, and she doesn't have anything invested in the main story, so it's just gonna kind of her being there, maybe getting an opponent to fight or something. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it was weird. I know Akutami is he's taking a month plus break, and this was only 9 chapters and stuff, and like I said, I don't mind that he's doing this. It's just kind of unfortunate in the standpoint of this character. Like with Panda and Yaga, it was like, oh, that sucks. But with Naoya, I think there were people that were invested in him. And again, this was one of the plot points that I do think a lot of people would have preferred to be longer range. But if it's something that he thinks it's necessary to make it easier on him to focus on the rest of the story, focus on what's coming up and everything, I'll be fine with that. Like, it's not a huge deal. It's more of like a... Damn, because I was one of the people that did have some investment in Nalia, but it's a whatever thing. I definitely look forward still to the Colon game. I really want to see what he's got planned for that. So I'm overall okay with this, but I wasn't like, you know, I'm not stoked about it. I'm not too upset about it. It's more of like, oh man, that sucks. Damn, whatever, I guess. Let's just get to like either the Colon game, or if like he can set up some stuff, because I think that's one of the things also that is probably my biggest thing, actually, kind of thinking about like what's going on right now pre-Colon game, is none of the content we're getting prior to the Colon game is setting up the Colon game. The closest we got was that one random failed comedian guy seemingly is going to be a character involved in it, but like now we know he's not going to compete. What's the point of like the stuff with Yaga and Panda? Like, that's not going to have anything to do, I would imagine, with the Colon game, unless Panda wants to get revenge on the old dude. And now we don't have Nalia versus Maki as like a Colon game potential fight. So what are we going into the Colon game really with? It's going to be very, very like question mark, because I'm guessing there's not going to be a lot of bad guys we're going to know of. It's going to be a lot of that like introductory bad guys. Maybe there'll be a couple that we'll get used to as the arc goes on, but I imagine a lot of them is going to feel a little episodic, where we're going to get introduced to some guys that are going to be like kind of introduced and defeated within the span of a few chapters, kind of like those bad guys that showed up randomly during the Shibuya arc, the short old guy and the grandma and her grandson, kind of like those guys, where it's like, yeah, their fights were kind of cool, but they're not memorable and they weren't built up. So it's like it's one of those ones, they're confined into it. Like, the most memorable thing about him was like the Toji zombie. Like, it's still cool, but man, there's not a whole lot going off from him. But anyway, other than that, though, comment below. Tell me your thoughts are about this, and like how you how you really think about like the stuff going on with Maki and the Zen'In clan. Because I personally wish that this was like Naobito, Naoya versus Maki. I would have preferred being a match that was placed and hyped up here, but was settled during the calling game. But anyway, other than that, though, comment below, thumbs up the video, but for the like button, subscribe, and check out my other videos. Run there. I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed. Thank you all for listening. Bye.